Hey everyone, it's Jim T. Graham. So, did you wind up flying by yourself the whole time?
Yep, it was just me. I brought two planes and it started getting kind of windy. It's pretty choppy, but makes it more fun to me.
So,
So there I was.
all RC pilots are interesting, but the thing that makes Richard a little bit different than most of us is that he is the guitar tech for the band Lonestar. And one thing I think that's interesting now, did you know Bobby Keys back in the day, the sax player for the Rolling Stones?
No, he passed away about a week after I started flying, actually.
So Bobby also flew at our field, and I was one of the, maybe not the only, but one of his go-to test pilots, which was super dangerous occupation. Let me tell you, because you never knew if anything was right, wrong, CG, or reverse. But he also took airplanes on the road, and so it was always the
Nice.
big question was what could we bring and what would fit in a road case. And so he had a road case with chargers, and he would fly at giant arenas all over the country. And we
Yeah.
were always trying to find the right arena plane. So, Richard, you do the same thing. And well, we were going to talk about music first, but let's talk about RC first. Let's talk about your go to RC. I'm on the road airplane.
That would be the UMX Timber, the E-Flight. Uh, it's I mean, it's a great plane. It's got everything. It's a little plane. It's like 2 foot, 24-inch wingspan, but it has flaps, big tires, lights. I did make the mistake of trying to fly it at night once, and fortunately, I was in a field with very high grass because
And
those
how'd
little
that go?
lights, they're pretty, but look at, but you can't tell what the hell the plane's doing with. But
Right.
yeah, the UMX Timber has turned out to be the best. I used to fly, started out with a Champ, and
The
which
little champ,
always,
right? Like this
oh
big.
yeah, yeah. At that time, I was out with Easton Corbin, and I had one. The bus driver had one, and then one of the lighting guy had one. So we used to go out every day in a parking lot somewhere. And the cool thing about the Champ, you can like run into light poles, and it may fall down, but you can't break it. It's so lightweight.
So, how did you
And
get into RC?
my dad in Florida, I'm actually a member of Sparks Airfield, the club Sparks. It's in Pinellas County, St. Petersburg, and as well as being a member of the Edwin Warner guys. But my dad, I would go to Florida and I'd go to the airfield with my dad. Uh, and one day he's like, "Hey man, why don't you try this?" And so he put me on a simulator for about an hour. And the next day I went out to the field with his most crashed piece of crap.
Would that be
Uh,
a glow plane? I bet.
no, actually, he had just started flying electrics, you know, but he was doing gas and everything back, for a long time. But now he got rid of all those. Everything is electric now.
Right. So you started there, and then I guess you came to Nashville for the music business.
Yeah, I actually was living in Nashville before I started flying. I think I've been flying now for 6 years, something like that. Uh, but it's one of those hobbies that unless you know somebody that pulled you out to a field, most people don't even know this hobby exists. I mean, in my experience, and I'm always trying to get people to come out. It's like we need more people.
So the way I got into the hobby totally accidentally. I went to a garage sale across the street from where I live today, and there was a fully built Italian. It was probably a stick-built airplane, but it was covered
Ooh.
all white, never been flown, never had anything put in it. It was built and then stopped, and they had $5 on it.
Oh
And
yeah.
I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew that it was worth a lot more than $5. So I bought it. And then at dinner that night, my father in law came over and he said, "That's an RC airplane and a good one." It was an Italian Sagittarius plane. And so
Nice.
I found the airfield, which is, a mile or so from my house. And I would go out there, and Bob Patterson, I kid you not, every night I would do a thing like I had no idea how servos worked or what kind of servos you needed or receiver. I knew nothing. And this is kind of before I got on RC Online, which predates RC Universe, which then predate or at the same
Okay.
time, ultimately RCGroups. But Bob would go, Jim, what you got to do is get these servos mounted in the wood. And then I'd come back and he'd go, now we got to get servos arms. You got to go to the hobby store and get servo arms. And I'd come back. I did this every day for a month. And at the end of the month, he goes, I believe it's ready to fly. And the most amazing, the thing I could not believe is that this thing that was just an inanimate $5 purchase actually got off the ground and flew around in the sky. It was unbelievable to me.
Yeah. And that was your first plane?
Yeah. And that was at the field. I walked up in the parking lot, and Richard Rust was walking back to his car. I just happened to see the president of the club, and I had long blonde hair, and Bryce Custer was there. And he said he thought that the first thing he thought when he saw me was that a hippie's kidnapped a baby, and he's in our parking lot. And so Bryce taught me how to fly, and Richard has never been anything but nice to me for all the years that I've been out there. And that club totally has everything to do with me having a career in the industry for 13 years.
Yeah, that's a good story, man.
Well,
Great
speaking of Bob, right before we got on, you were showing off an airplane. Tell us a little bit of your Bob story and your bird.
Yeah, so, and as you can probably see, I named it. This is a Durafly Bravado that Bob gave me this about a week before he passed away. Still in the box. And he said, I know how you like to fly, so why don't you take this plane? So, I mean, this plane doesn't exist anymore. You can't buy it. But the thing I like about it is it's kind of a cross between a pattern plane and a 3D plane.
Right.
Like I can hover this thing like beautifully. It does everything beautifully. It flies like it's on rails. You go inverted, it flies. You don't even have to touch the sticks. And I think it's because how thin the body is that the whole thing, at whatever angle, it's like a wing. The only drawback is that the fact that it's that thin. You have to use, like I put 1,600 batteries in, and you'll notice you can see the ending out the side from the receiver.
Right.
And then there's actually a satellite back here, and I had to cut place out to get it in there. But anyway, yeah, back Bravado, great plane, a lot of fun.
I'm pretty sure we did a review on that airplane because it looks super familiar. I think Jason owns that bird.
I think you did, and I know somebody crashed one because I found landing gear in the
nice
trash can, which I took home, never knowing that like a year later I was going to end up with that plane.
So do us a favor and pan right and show everybody what's hanging. So what you see right now is his guitar cases, but on top of the guitar cases are all his airplanes over there.
Yeah, I came up with this method of hanging them. I just using bungee cords, so I got them hanging all around the man cave.
Right. Awesome.
Basically.
So what were you flying this morning? The big Cub over there?
Yeah, I was flying the yellow Cub. I guess I could walk over there since I'm using an iPad. Follow me.
You thought you knew, but you have no idea.
Yeah, I was flying this Cub. I think it's got like a 59-inch wingspan. I bought that for $1, and
wow. Nice.
it had a brushed motor in it, and I took the motor out. My first plane was an Apprentice, and as it turned out, the motor from the Apprentice, all the electronics from the Apprentice is now in this plane, which is one of the reasons I like to fly it on really windy days. I can hit the safe button.
Right.
If I need.
And it doesn't care.
No, flies perfect. I haven't even changed the settings on on my radio. Still the exact same as it was for The Apprentice. So, of course, you'll remember this.
Yeah, yeah.
The original
Plane
Tundra.
of the year. So is that thing still in a flyable mode, or have you patched it
Oh
up?
yeah, no, it flies great. It flies excellent. And then my second plane, my dad gave me, it's T-28,
Nice.
the old Park Zone, and my new jet that I haven't flown yet.
Oh, why haven't you flown it? Because of weather, I guess.
Yeah, I actually won. It was at one of the club breakfast meetings, and we had a member that moved to a small island off the coast of Seattle, and he said he couldn't use a plane, so he donated it. We had a drawing out of a hat. I won that and 3 6-cell batteries. So
Nice.
that was a good
Wow,
deal.
that's not cheap. So the
I know.
question from the live chat is, what do you have more of, planes or guitars?
It kind of depends. I just got rid of a bunch of planes. I had 12. Right now I have, let's see, I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have about somewhere between 13 and 14 planes, and I have 18 guitars.
Okay, so we're getting pretty close to head to head. I think I quit counting. I think I have around 22 sitting around here.
Planes or guitars?
Guitars, and who knows how
Wow.
many planes I've had go through the shed, and that's
Yeah.
all that lives. I call that the basement. That's 3 basements over. That's where all the airplanes live.
Yeah, well, the problem I ran into is I ended up with so many planes that I didn't know where to put them.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to just have them on the floor, like up against the walls around this room, and then we had a flood in here, which didn't hurt the planes. It did get the bottom of all my guitar cases.
Did it get the guitars at all?
No, there's some little discolorations here and there, but everything's all right.
So when I'm on the
Thank God.
road and it's flooding, because we live next to a creek, the first call I get is my wife will say, which amps should I move up first? And most everything now is, there's one amp back here that's not, but most of my amps are up off the ground. So tell me this, when you go out and fly, let's say, give us a day in the life. You're on a tour bus and you're headed to a town a day, maybe. How does all this operate?
Yeah. Generally, what I'll end up doing is and the reason why I've always used the UMX planes is because they come with boxes, with
Right.
carrying handles. You can pack them up. So generally, we're not going to load in until like around 12. We go to whatever hotel the band gets off, and us crew guys hang out on the bus. That's usually when I'll pull it out. So it might be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll look, see what my surroundings are. If there's a safe parking lot or a field, then I'll just go ahead and fly. And I might do that again later in the day. There's my buddy George.
Well, while you talk, we'll go through your pictures.
And there's Jerry from King's X, one of my favorite bands.
Where's that at?
Yeah, that is in Asbury Park, New Jersey. That was my band was playing there, and we had a day off. Good friend Billy Angel at one of the we're in Montana right there. It's Billy and his wife Lacey, and here we are enjoying beer. I think that's in Hawaii.
So how many days are you on the road a year?
I don't know. We did like 95 shows last year, and then you'd have to throw in travel days. So I'm going to say probably half the year, 6 months.
And is it as much fun as it's looking in these photos?
the photos are photos of fun.
Right.
As far as work goes, it's generally just like a fine-tuned machine. You do the same thing every day, and you tend to just kind of zone out as far as what city you're in or whatever. You know, I constantly have friends bitch at me about not telling them that I was in town
Right.
last week.
But it's a job. You're in, you're out, right? It's not like you're hanging
Yeah,
around.
yeah, there's that. And, you know, the truth is, entertainers and crew members, they don't really so much like it when friends come to visit.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
it, it just complicates the day, you know, because now I'm thinking about
What are we
what
going
I
to
have,
do? What are they going to do?
yeah, what I have to do. And they're going, hey, man, let me take you out to eat. And
Right.
I'm, you know, so I had for a while, I was also doing the merchandise for the band. So at that point, I would force my friends to sell the merch. Be like, yeah, you come
Yeah.
visit,
Right.
but you're selling. And you know, it was fun. They'd have fun.
So is that the SG we were just looking at? What am I looking at
That
there?
that is a different SG. That's a 96.
Gotcha. We were earlier, we were
We were looking at this.
looking at his SG, which I will be showing my daughter. This is her favorite SG.
And this and this is a 1968, a real one.
And this is not a real one. I was showing him mine. I put a Bigsby on mine and P90s and chrome covers.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice the P90s.
Yeah, the
Here they
P90s
are.
are awesome.
Yeah, I have P90s on my 56 Les Paul.
And how long have you had that guitar? Is that the you said you've had it since you were a kid?
This one right here, uh, let's see. I was about 18, I think, when I got it. So I've had this guitar. I'll be 63 this year. So I've had it for a long time.
Wow. Because most people don't hang on to that one, and that looks like the one.
Well, and you know, the interesting thing about it, when I got it, it had no strings on it. Some guy had it in the newspaper. He wanted $200 for it. And I had, unfortunately, I had a 1973 SG, and I traded him. I wish I would have kept the 73 and just got a job, got the $200.
Right.
I think 73 is worth more now. They only made them like 1 year. But on this, every mark on this guitar is me.
Right.
Every
It's
mark.
honest.
This is when I was a punk right here, and I would wear these
Studded
belts that,
belts. Yeah.
well, yeah, they would rip the hell out of the back of the guitar. And so, and then I used to bang the headstock on the cymbals, so you might see a few dents there.
Wow. And then you'd
Yeah,
saying you'd try to rip the strings off on the last song.
yeah. We had this one song where it had this wild lead, and I would start doing the whammy, and at the you know, as you're doing that, at the end, yeah, I would like take the whammy bar and I'd be trying to
Hold it.
rip the strings out.
Right, right. Did you
Oh
ever?
yeah.
Would you hold it up by the whammy bar? Shake it.
I don't remember doing that, but I probably did.
Let's do it now.
I
Let's both hold them by the whammy bars and just shake.
Well, this is kind of an antique,
Yeah, let's
man.
not. Let's not do that. Okay, we'll be back later. Well, it's funny we
Yeah.
both love SGs. I got asked on I forget the name of the site. It's the site where everybody asks a question and then the world answers it. And it was like, is the SG the best guitar ever made? And I said, you know, if you look around, you'll see I own more than a few guitars, and this is the number one guitar for playing. Show it. Let's
Yeah.
get it.
No, I got an SG. That this one you got to see.
So the beauty of an SG is the access to the lower frets. So when you're playing, you can actually get down here and, you know, wow, wow. I keep turning it the wrong way, but
Yeah, it's basically a Les Paul except easier to play. Okay, this right here. This is a real custom shop Tony Iommi left-handed guitar with sterling silver crosses. Of course, got the Tony Iommi pickups. But this thing right here, 24 frets, and it plugs in down here instead of
Wow. 24 frets. I would love to have some extra frets.
But this guitar right here, it was built in 1999, and it's serial number 69.
Nice. I wonder what that thing would be worth.
I've been offered 10,000 for it.
Wow.
I bought it for $32.50. Here's this. I don't know if you can see the serial number.
Are those locking tuners? 069.
Yeah, so those Spurzil.
That's crazy.
Locking. But this was the Tony Iommi custom shop model. Now, the interesting thing about that is, check this out. You mentioned Epiphone.
If you don't know, when Tony Iommi was about to get his big break, he worked in a machine shop, and then he sawed off 2 or 3 of his fingertips the day before he went in to quit his job as a machinist.
That is correct. So here, this is a fake one. This is the Epiphone version. And this is the real one. The Epiphone version is a really nice copy. It doesn't have sterling silver inlays, but they did a good job of copying it. And I actually used this, the cheap guitar, for a backup when doing Mercy Trigger or Blood Drunk Shenanigans shows.
So tell us about that. So if anybody wants to go check out your bands, so you're on the road with Lonestar, but you have bands that you play in as well.
Yeah, currently, if you look up Blood Drunk Shenanigans, you'll find a few videos. There's actually a good live video. And then Mercy Trigger was the same band. We just changed the name because we had a kind of a pending record deal, and the people involved with that didn't like the name. So sure. We have some cool Mercy Trigger videos. There's one called Inglorious that we're cowboys. We have a shootout. That was fun.
Nice.
And Fake Blood and all that
Squibs.
stuff.
So
yeah, we had.
Go ahead.
Good. We had the squibs, yes.
Squibs are when you see somebody get shot and blood blows out. They're like little packs that you wear that have, I wouldn't say an explosive, but they projectile blow up blood. Poof.
Yeah. Apparently they do make some that are explosive. What we had a makeup guy. He was on that show. I think it was called Face Off or something.
Oh yeah.
He had squibs that he made. So it would be, they take a hose, put it up to your shirt. He would cut a little hole in the shirt, and they tape the thing there. And then he had a bicycle pump, and he would pump this thing up.
Yeah.
And well, he'd pump it up, and it would hold the air, and then he would, give you a count of 3, so that you knew when you were going to get shot, and it would just, and of course we wanted him to overdo it. So right. He supposedly gave us the Quentin Tarantino squib, which just had, way more blood than a human would actually eject.
So did you know I have a background, lived in LA for 8 years. I worked as an art director, a special effects guy.
No.
I worked with Madonna, Motley Crue, Neil Young. I did all the videos in the 90s. Rockin' in the Free World, when Neil is doing the lead guitar part, he's wearing my cowboy boots. I was in a crane running his spotlight, and evidently he walked by and saw my Tony Lama, what were they? They were exotics. And then the assistant director said, he wants your boots. He wants to wear them. So what's cool is, fast forward to now, and I'm like, my daughter's all into 70s rock, and she's playing all Led Zeppelin electric guitar. Now she plays 4 hours a day. And I can go see those boots on Neil Young and that video. Those are my boots, and I'm the guy shining the spotlight on him. So it's all coming back around.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So let's get back to, you're on the road. You have you have one of your planes in the box, and then what, you get to the destination, you do a load in, a sound check, and then you fly, or when does the flying take place?
No, usually I fly before, because I tend to wake up in the morning, You know, a lot of guys like to sleep forever.
Right.
And but you know, I'm used to getting up so I can go to the airfield. Or if I'm in Florida, you know, my dad gets up at like 6 and he's ready to head out, you know, like we go really early in the morning there, like before all the big 3D guys come in,
Right.
because they got some serious 3D planes up down there. But yeah, so I get up in the morning, see if there's a place to fly, and then I'll just, you know, do like 3, maybe 4 flights, because I think yeah, I got 4 batteries, and then that's it. Then I'll break out the charger, charge up the batteries, put them back in the box, see what happens. Like if we're doing a county fair or something like that, you're probably going to see me flying after sound check.
In
You
the back
know, like,
pasture.
yeah, I've done that. Matter of fact, there was a time, uh, especially when I first started flying, because I had the champ with me. I flew so much, and there was a time that I was like, man, I need to contact Horizon Hobby and find out what kind of deal they'll give me to be an ambassador, because I can't tell you how many champs I sold
Huh.
for them,
You should
like tons.
give them a code, you know, like say Leverone sent you.
Yeah, there you go. That's an idea. But you know, nowadays I I don't have the champ anymore. Uh, Interestingly, uh, one of the Steves at the airfield. Damn it! Why can't I
Steve
remember his
Port?
last name? No, Marstiller. Steve Marstiller. He gave it a name. Started calling it Ferris, because one time I was flying it at a water park and it disappeared from the sky. Like, I was like, what? And it took a couple hours before some supervisors started the Ferris wheel and they found it in a gondola.
So that's where it disappeared.
Yeah, I was just flying. You know, I didn't realize I was right next to the
Right.
Ferris wheel.
Depth perception. Right.
Yeah, it's like, and it just disappeared. And I'm like, that's just not possible. It's gone.
So that puts me on a story. L.A. Johnson, who folks used to know back in the day, worked at Hobby Lobby. He was the tech in the back. And so LA, he did free flight, and that's where you put a designated amount of fuel in. Maybe it's not free flight, but it was a contest where you put in a certain amount of fuel, full throttle. Everybody released their planes. They went straight up until they ran out of gas. And then you were going to pilot them and keep them in the air as long as you could and pilot them back to the ground, right? So he said that his went straight up, ran out of gas, and he had no control. And he said, Jim, I just watched it fly away, just get in a jet stream and just go. And he said he went home, he picked his wife up, they went to a movie, they came home, and he said, when I walked in the door, the phone rang, and it was a farmer. And this farmer said he was plowing his field, and he said an airplane landed right next to my tractor. He said it was landed perfectly in the field next to his tractor, and LA had his phone number on it, and it flew an hour and a half and 110 miles away.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is amazing.
And then I'll tell you one more story. I was at our field at one of those, I don't know, one of the picnic days where everybody's out there.
Yeah.
Man, I forget this guy's name. You know, the old timers, the guys flying airplanes where you're wondering how the heck can they even see what they're flying? And this guy's been gone a long time, but the oldest guy at the club. And I noticed that he was not facing the right way. He had a transmitter in his hands and he was looking off the backside of where we fly. And I walked up and I stood next to him, and this is a long time ago. And I looked and looked, I couldn't see an airplane. And I said, Doctor, whatever your name is, I said, what are you flying? He goes, Jim, I'm flying my sailplane. I haven't seen it in 5 minutes. And he's working the sticks. He's looking at the horizon. And so I looked and looked. And then I did see it way away. There are all these trees like way far away. And I saw it go back behind those trees, go whoop. That was it. And finally he gave up, got in his car and drove off. And about an hour later, a lady showed up and she walked up to me and she said, I want to show you something. And she opened her trunk, and that was his sailplane. And they lived in that housing development, like past the golf course. And she
Right.
said, I was sitting in my living room this plane just landed in my front window, right in my front yard. Crazy.
Now, you know that I can't remember the name of the plane. I think it's like gray and yellow high wing Cub that Horizon sells that actually has like drone technology or whatever you call it. It's got GPS. It'll do all sorts of stuff like land itself and everything. Well, we had a funny story. So this guy Tom had just bought the plane and he was afraid to fly it, so he gave it to Bob Patterson to Maiden. And Bob Patterson was always a real man. He didn't use safe mode. He didn't believe in it. You know,
Right.
you're going to learn how to
A
fly. That's it.
crutch. Right.
Well, anyway, he takes off and it's heading right for the dog park. And he's like, it won't turn. I can't turn it. I can't do anything. And it just disappeared behind the trees in the dog park. And so Tom and this other guy, they run across the street and they're searching and searching. And I'm just sitting there with Bob. And all of a sudden he goes, damn, it's coming back. And the plane was flying back. They're still searching. It landed right before the runway. I picked it up. I could hear the servos going because they brought the radio with them. They're like a half mile away trying to find. And anyway, battery was at 0. Now, I don't know how it didn't hit anything, but it did disappear behind a tree. So what I want to know is, does it have a sensor so it doesn't hit things like a quadcopter?
I guess it returned to home when the battery got low. It automatically was like, I know where home is, GPS. You know, I can't believe I don't know what this airplane is, because that's kind of my specialty, those kinds of airplanes. If E-Flight Sport Cub is what the guys are saying.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Victor. Hey, Jackson. Hey, Brian. Got everybody
in
the
the Cubs. Horizon Hobby. Here we go. Oh, doesn't want to work.
Were you there that day that Mike Hines he built this biplane? You know how Mike is. Everything he builds is just perfect, right? And
yeah.
He was test flying this before he handed it off after he built it. And he hit something over by the dog park. It sounded like a car crash, man. It was like, bam! And I couldn't believe he did it. But it wasn't that damaged. But man, what a noise that thing made.
Speaking of my Tundra, I actually clipped a tree coming in for a landing over in a parking lot the other day. It didn't do anything. I just saw the branch, do one of these. So, Tundra, love it.
Okay, so we've talked about how you got in the hobby, where and how you fly your planes on the road. And so my next question will be, what would be your next purchase? Let's say that you get that $1,000 check from the government for your coronavirus relief, and you had to buy some RC stuff with it. What would you buy?
If I had, let's see, what do I want right now? I was kind of interested in this. Can't remember what they call it, but it's a new Cub. It's a big one. It's got 6.5-inch wheels. What's it called? It's called Super Cub.
Did it just come out today?
I think it came out a couple weeks ago. And I'm quite sure it's on Horizon.
Is it the Carbon Cub FX? 100 to 200 cc ARF?
And I think it's made by FMS.
Oh, FNA. They've just brought out a new one today, and I just did a story on it. Let's cut over and take a look. You see this new Cub?
Oh, that's nice.
So this is serious business.
I like it.
Hangar 9, Carbon Cub FX, one of the largest Cub they've ever created.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, I wonder why.
So do you have one of those to test?
I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. I don't fly giant airplanes, and I don't fly anything that costs as much as a El Camino. When you catch me flying El Caminos around with no insurance, you'll know that something serious has happened in my life. That's
I'm
wild.
looking. Yeah, here it is. It's FMS Super PA 18 Super Cub.
FMS PA 18
Super Cub.
Super Cup.
It looks like fun. I think this is the one. It's got the big ass tires. Yeah.
Oh, I like the trim
Yeah.
scheme.
Yeah. And it's got floats and everything. I'm a big fan of the high wing, high performance, Cubs. That's why I like the Tundra so much.
So it's a $249 price tag, which is their go-to number these days. Let's see if it's a for-sale LiPo, which I bet $1,000 it is, based on that
Yeah, it
number.
is.
4.62. That's pretty not light. 3541 Outrunner, 1275 Blade 4S. So you know it's ballistic. And is there a video? There's not a video. Wait, I'm on the wrong page for the video.
Pretty sure I watched it. Yeah. Of course, that's an unboxing. I wonder if he's going to fly it.
Oh, you're right.
But yeah, there was that, and then I saw this thing called a Kingfisher, which is what my dad ended up buying one of those in Florida.
Who makes that?
I think that's also FMS.
Okay.
And it's that plane is really cool as far as building it. Like you literally don't need any tools. Like it snaps together, and it's built really nice, and it looks just like a Tundra, but from what I understand, it doesn't have the power. I haven't got to fly, but my dad,
Oh, wow. Really?
But I mean, that thing looks like a Tundra, except it's got nicer landing gear. Like it's not gonna get all bent up.
I deal with the owner of FMS a little bit, and what a nice guy. I mean, he'll return my email in a heartbeat. And if there's a contest needed to be going on somewhere, he's always happy to oblige. So great company
Nice.
for me.
Nice.
And when I say for me, I mean for RCGroups.
Right.
Well, it's about that time, spring is here. We may be coronavirus up. And now that's really, if you're still here with us, the point of today is we can work in our shop and we can go to the field. I mean, these are two okay things as long as we're not hugging other pilots, which doesn't happen that often. So,
Not often.
You're at the field today, breaking no social distancing rules, having a good time.
Nope.
How long did you stay out there?
I was out there for about an hour, and then for a while, I just sat there, see if anybody else was going to show up. But yeah, the good thing about flying alone is my favorite thing about flying is landing. And because it's the hardest, it's the most challenging. So when I'm there by myself, all I do is take off, go around, land, take off, go around, land, especially when it's windy, and had a few close calls today with some gusts with the plane we're looking at right now. The one, and that's, another point I'd like to make for anyone who doesn't fly and says it's too expensive, I can't do it. I got that plane for $1, and half my planes I got for free because people give them away. You can't sell them, So yeah, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 planes hanging up in this room I got for free. Well, except I paid $1 for the one you're looking at.
Right. Awesome. So if you're not aware of this, if you're watching this video and you're not a subscriber, if you subscribe, you'll see a notice come up when we go live with videos like this, which will allow you, if you look right here, to be in the live chat. And so Victor Shamula says, wait, that's not what I was going to quote. One of the guys said, you're going to love that jet.
Yeah, I've been told that it's a great plane to fly, and I got my safety crutch. It's like if that thing gets away from you, I'll turn on the safe button and bring it back.
Check this out. We're going to have an infinite hole going on here with the screen grabbing the screen grabbing the screen. So if
Yeah.
we stay on this long enough, we probably can alter the universe. Well, anyway, I saw this picture today, and I thought I want to interview somebody again today on the social distancing. I don't have a name for what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to give some great RC content for people to look at, have alternatives on what they can do. And one of my biggest points is you can go to the field and fly. Just stay 6 feet away from the other pilots.
That's right.
Maybe the field house.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, is there anything before we get out of here you need to say? You want to tell other pilots, dates, gigs you want to promote, anything? Well, maybe not a gig now.
No, I can't. Yeah. Everybody get your ass to the airfield so I don't have to fly alone.
Well, I am going to, or you or one of us should, when this will go live on YouTube, as soon as we stop, it'll churn and then go up on the site. And then we can share this with all our friends at our club so they can see your interview. Yeah.
And as far as other announcements, yeah, Lonestar, like everybody else, is stuck in the corona virus thing. It's like we're not going anywhere. You know, every show has been canceled until further notice, and you know, it is what it is. I can stay at home, work on planes, go flying, work on music, and that's it. So come on out to the airfield.
All right, cool. Well, man, I appreciate you taking time out to talk to us today.
Thanks for having me, man.
And we'll see you at the airfield.
Seeing you again.
Yeah.
Yes,
all
sir.
right. I want to thank everybody in the live chat for joining us today. We got a Thursday under our belt, not to mention the last two. If you didn't see the two articles I did yesterday and the day before, we interviewed Bossy USA talking about building kits at the house. And then yesterday we talked to Jeremy from Real Flight, and we talked about flying your flight sim at the house. So just valid things you can do with your time out here. And you're going to give me that SG we're going to trade? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, if you can make it trade through the camera. The hole's too small. I can't
fit it.
Yeah, this is probably one guitar I'll keep.
To your dad? Now, will you be buried with this, or will you leave it to somebody?
No. You know, I don't know. I know I won't be buried with it. It's going to somebody. Well, and who? Possibly my stepdaughter. I could give it to my brother, but he's not that much younger than me. So
right, the longevity's not there. I brought my daughter in and I said, look, we have to give I'm going to do an amp history lesson first. And so I said, this is expensive. This is rare. This is old. This is awesome. And then I told her which guitar was which and why it mattered. Because one day she'll have them. Whatever's left, they're hers.
Yep.
But I am going to have my ashes shot out of bullets. So at my funeral, it's just going to be a lot of pistols and they'll be just shooting my ashes. Bam, bam, bam. Yosemite Sam style, you know.
That sounds like fun.
All right. And on that note, I'd like to say you've been listening to the RC Groups YouTube Hangout. Be sure and check us out at rcgroups.com. And don't forget, we have the RC Groups online trade show coming at around the 3rd of April. And if you want to get in that, you need to send me a PM. Feel free to give me suggestions and thoughts about how we can do all that. I've got everything worked out right now, but I'm open and fluid to doing the best thing that we can to make that online trade show work. It's a lot of stuff for a guy who didn't know what he was going to say 3 seconds ago. Richard, I will see you at the field. And with that, we're going to sign off.
See you later.